This is a crazy situation, but unfortunately, it was kind of inevitable. The price of the Switch 1 is actually increasing, and this really hasn't happened for any Nintendo console in the past. From what I remember, like almost every Nintendo console has gotten a price cut. Some consoles have even gotten a price cut during its run. And for handhelds like the 3DS, they've gotten pretty significant price cuts pretty late in their run. Like, with the 2DS specifically, during the last couple years it was out, it was only $79.99 bundled with Mario Kart 7, which is actually the cost of Mario Kart World, which I think is pretty funny. And that was a great affordable option, either for kids or anyone gaming on a budget. It was great that Nintendo had that option there. But nowadays, it really seems like Nintendo doesn't have any true affordable option nowadays. None of the companies in the gaming industry really have any affordable option. And that is really unfortunate, and it's definitely kind of creating a barrier for people who want to get into gaming. It's just really sad to see, because the Switch 1 would have been a great opportunity to kind of push a more affordable option to people, even at the price that it was before this price increase. I think like $300 for the regular console, $200 for the Switch Lite, I still think that is perfectly reasonable, even though I do think ideally it should have gotten a price cut after a few years. Like, it still is more affordable than the competition with how high prices are nowadays. But these price increases, unfortunately, are kind of understandable because of the tariffs. I think the tariffs definitely screwed a lot of things over, so I don't think this is entirely Nintendo's fault, because it's kind of understandable why Nintendo wouldn't want to eat the cost, because back in 2019, Nintendo moved most of their production over to Vietnam and China, funnily enough, to avoid tariffs, but now they're kind of facing the consequences of that because of the 20% Vietnam tariffs and 30% tariffs on China. So it is just a pretty unfortunate predicament that they're in right now. So even though it's kind of sucks that the console prices are going up, I feel like it just has to do with everything going on in the United States in general right now. And these price increases are pretty significant, since the Switch 1, like the original, technically it's like the revision, I think from 2019, I believe, is gonna be $339, or $340 technically, which is a $40 increase. And Switch OLED will be $400, and the Switch Lite will be $230. That is a pretty substantial jump, I would say. Like, especially for an older console now. Like, now that the Switch 2 is out, it pretty much replaced the original Switch. So I do think that is kind of crazy. And the Switch OLED is now $50 cheaper than the Switch 2. Which does seem like it's kind of a scummy move from Nintendo on the surface, because it is kind of an artificial way of making the Switch 2 look cheaper, but at the same time, I don't want to put too much of the blame on Nintendo for this, because this is mostly due to external circumstances. And the thing is, I think this is the time that we can actually blame the tariffs, because the thing is, with the Switch 2, with the price of that console in $80 games, that was determined well ahead of time, and I don't really think they had tariffs in mind with those prices, especially since the prices are similar around the globe. But in the case of the Switch 1 price increasing, that is kind of indicative that there are some external factors at play here. And even if it's true that Nintendo didn't have any choice in this matter, it doesn't make it any less depressing, because a lot of people are going to be priced out of gaming. I've known a lot of people over the years who've grown up with consoles near the end of their lifespan and got these consoles when they were getting price drops. And for a lot of kids nowadays who are kind of in that situation, they won't even be fortunate enough to get a Nintendo Switch around the end of its lifespan. It's just really sad because I know there's a lot of kids out there who really want a console to play Mario, Donkey Kong, and Kirby, but won't even be able to get a Switch 1 because of these price increases. It's just really unfortunate, and I just really wish there was some affordable option out there, affordable and accessible, for children and adults alike to get into gaming. There are some good options out there for affordable gaming, like the Anbernic retro handhelds. Some of the other retro handhelds as well are pretty good, I would say, but they are limited to a degree because you can't really play many modern games, and it isn't that well known. So I really wish either Nintendo or another large gaming company had some kind of affordable gaming console out there that was accessible to a lot of people. And the thing is, Nintendo should already have that. They have the Nintendo Switch Lite, which did get a price increase, but the thing is, even before that tariff price increase, $200 is already a bit much for the Switch Lite. Because when looking at it, it's a very small system, and it also is just a little more capable than an Xbox 360. It can't run a ton of modern games similar to the regular Switch. So ideally, I think it should be around $150 to $175. I think something like $175 after these price increases would have been perfectly acceptable. I think Nintendo still would have been making a profit from it because of how old this technology is, and it would have been a fairly accessible console to a lot of people. Maybe bundle in a game like Echoes of Wisdom or Super Mario Odyssey, and I think that definitely would have been a good console for a lot of people, like, who are on a budget. So I really think Nintendo should have done something like that rather than just not doing anything and kind of being forced to increase their base prices because of the tariffs. It is a pretty unfortunate situation, and I do feel like Nintendo should have had a better alternative here. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the whole situation. Like I said, I don't think Nintendo is fully to blame here, because there are a lot of external factors, but I do think they should have had some alternatives here that were a little better. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!